Hey, it's Christmas Day and welcome to a Take Two with Therese for Altenew, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to make some fairly simple thank you cards for Christmas. So I have a couple of poinsettia sets here and I wanted to do some watercolouring. I'm using some Bristol Smooth cardstock and I'm stamping out both of my images with the Obsidian black ink because I know that this is going to work well with water. I do like to leave it for a good 20 minutes to dry before I add my watercolours. Otherwise I have a heat tool that has a low setting on it and I can actually dry the pigment ink with the heat tool without warping the paper, which is great. So I'm going to add my colour today and I'm using some watercolour brush marker refills. So I've got 3 different colours here and this colour is so intense. I'm literally just adding a drop of each colour onto my palette. And I've got the lime, moss and the midnight violet. I'm using like a wet to wet technique pretty much, and I want it to look fairly washy. And you might have noticed I did leave my stamps in the MISTI. I didn't end up needing to restamp these images, but it's a good practice to get in. I find if it's there and I'm not really happy with how the edges or the stamping looks after I've finished with my colouring, I can always come back in and stamp it again. And originally I was going to kind of go with an embossed look, but changed my mind. So I'm trying to let the colour mix itself, so adding pretty much some clear water to the images, picking up the refill, like the colour with my brush and dropping it in. Now I am being really careful with the midnight violet colour because it doesn't play well with the green, so I either have tapped it away a little bit so it doesn't mix to a brown, and or let it dry. I think on this second one here what I did was actually came in and dried it with my heat tool before I added the green again to the outside, and that seemed to work well. It just stops it from blending so brownly. So I hope you've had a really good Christmas. 2019 has been massive. There's been so much going on at Altenew, and I just know that 2020 is going to be just as good. There's always so much inspiration and the design team always wow me with everything that they do. So keep an eye out for the new releases in 2020. Okay, so I'm on to my sentiment now, and here I am. I've got the gradient cardstock again. This one is the shades of purple. I can't get enough of this stuff. It's awesome. And I grabbed the midnight violet one, which is the darkest one. It kind of looks black. It's not. It's dark purple, but you know, in some of the lights it actually looks quite dark. And I've die cut that with my mini blossom. Now here I'm going backwards a step because I forgot to add my splatters to my panels, and these panels are cut slightly larger than what I needed. I thought that way I could cut them down and center my flowers a bit better on how my sentiments were going to be once I decided what I was going to do. And speaking of sentiments, I decided to pop up the mega thanks die cut on some fun foam. So I did cut that through my big shot so I didn't squish it down too much, and added some matte medium, and then I can just sort of line it up over the top of the fun foam and let it dry in place. I find this way I get the die cut lined up with the fun foam a bit better. The rest of my sentiment comes from the neighbourhood stamp set, and I'm just stamping that out with some Obsidian black ink. And I did actually cut this down with my trimmer, but I didn't like it. I didn't cut it narrow enough, and I didn't stamp it very well either. So I actually came in with a marker, a Copic multi-liner, and just filled in a couple of dots where I missed. And then, like I said, I did actually come in and cut it down a bit narrower using my scissors. I did 2 lots of these sentiments because I've got exactly the same sentiments on both of my card designs today. And did I say, I don't think I told you which poinsettias I use. I use the Festive poinsettia. So that's this card here. I've got it on a side fold landscape card, and I'm just adhering the Bristol Smooth. I've cut it down to fit the card front to the front of the card, and the second poinsettia is the modern poinsettia, which is the newer one. And I'm using the matte medium again to adhere my Mega Sentiment. I find the liquid glues are very forgiving, and the matte in particular is good because it doesn't end up shiny when it dries. So if it does squish out the sides, it's not going to look all shiny and awful. And then I just popped up the sub sentiment on some foam squares. And this would have to be probably my favourite poinsettia flower ever, maybe. I know it's a bold statement. I think it's true. Have you got a favourite poinsettia? I know there's so many out there, and they're such a beautiful flower for Christmas. Alright, my second card. This is a top fold portrait style card, and this time I thought it'd be fun to cut my Mega Thanks in half, and I did actually shape where I cut it so that it looked a little bit rounded. I did this on both sides of the die cut, and this is already popped up on the fun foam. And then I thought it'd be fun to mount the Mega Thanks in two pieces in the middle of the card, and then add the neighbourhood sub sentiment across the centre. And then I did come in with some clear sparkling sequins on both of the cards and adhered those with the matte medium. Alright, so everything will be linked at the blog. If you like this video, please click on the thumbs up sign to let us know that you did, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's always heaps of inspiration here. I look forward to seeing you back here again real soon. Till then, bye.